What's up, everybody? This is Joker, and today I will be reviewing the 2012 movie The Collection, the sequel to the 2009 movie The Collector. In The Collector, we learn that the Collector is a serial killer who lets one victim survive, so he kidnaps them and stuffs them into this red trunk. He also poses as a bug exterminator. However, he doesn't exterminate bugs, or at least not that we see. Instead, we see that he has like spiders and whatnot as pets. Or at least we learn that for sure in The Collection. Also in The Collector, we are introduced to our main protagonist named Arkin, who in the last movie is an ex-con trying to get who's trying to steal this jewel because his wife is in debt to these loan sharks. However, he gets kidnapped by the Collector at the end of the last movie, so here comes this movie. In The Collection, it's not just about Arkin this time. Now we got this other girl that we got other girl. We have this woman named Elena, I believe that's how it's pronounced, who is the daughter of this rich guy, and her friends take her to this party, and she finds her boyfriend making out with another woman, so she gets pissed off and punches him in the face, and then, yeah. And then she goes to another room, and then she finds the red trunk, sorry. She finds the red trunk, she opens it, and Arkin jumps out of it, and, they both activate this trap, which sends this weird rotating thing to come down from the ceiling and kills nearly everybody on the dance floor. But her ex-boyfriend, managed to make it out of the room, but with his fingers cut off. He runs into another room and activates another trap, which sends these swords coming out from the walls, killing the others, I think including him. Elena gets kidnapped by the Collector, and Arkin tries to escape from the building, so he grabs her boyfriend's dead body and jumps out the window using him as a cushion. Later on, he gets taken to a hospital. He's visited by his wife, and he tells her to take their daughter and to go to her parents. Then he later on gets visited by a guy who was pretending to be a cop, but turns out to be a mercenary, and gives him an ultimatum to help them find his boss's daughter, who was kidnapped by the Collector, and they'll let him go. At least I think that's what was happening. And then they go to the Collector's hideout. They go to the Collector's hideout and they start searching for her. However, just like in the first movie, the place is trapped. The place has traps everywhere, but we've got an addition to this one. There's also other people who were kidnapped who pretty much became fucking crazy. So they start to attack the mercenaries, but the crazy people get killed one by one. But the crazy people aren't the only ones killed one by one. The mercenaries are also killed one by one by the Collector himself with his traps and whatnot. Eventually, though, they find Elena, but one of the mercenaries and Arkin get kidnapped too. They're locked up in this cell like thing, and the collector decides to burn down the building. But Arkin breaks his arm to open the lock, and they get out. However, when they are heading to the front door, the collector turns out to be right behind them and kills one of the mercenaries by stabbing her in the neck. Then he starts beating the absolute shit out of Arkin and Alina. But then, the main mercenary, the leader mercenary, finds them, and he and the collector start beating the shit out of each other. Unfortunately, the collector gets the upper hand and stabs him and kills him. But Arkin stabs the collector, and then he starts beating the shit out of the collector, but the collector stabs Arkin in the cheek, but thankfully it doesn't kill him. He just continues to beat the shit out of the collector until he eventually knocks him down this trap door where there's I think, if I remember correctly, there were dead bodies, and they were also soaked in gasoline. Arkin lights a piece of paper on fire and throws it down to the collector. He's set on fire, and Arkin and Alina make it out of the building alive with the police and paramedics helping them out. The end of the movie, we see that the collector survived the being set on fire, and he actually surprisingly has a normal home. And he turns on his radio, but the radio starts playing something else. So he realizes that there's somebody else in his house, and it turns out to be Arkin. And we almost get to see the collector's face, but before that can happen, Arkin punches the shit out of him and puts him in his own trunk. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. Yeah. I really like this movie. You know, a lot of people didn't care for this one. This one was nowhere near as well received as the first one, although the first one wasn't exactly that well received either. But you know, I like them both. I can't help but feel there is a slight comparison between the collection and the 2007 movie Return to House on Haunted Hill. I don't know, maybe it's the whole mercenaries going to this fucked up place to get something or someone, you know. Except the difference is, in this movie, the mercenaries are actually good guys, whereas in Return to House on Haunted Hill, they're a bunch of assholes and greedy, and they're trying to find a statue to get money or something like that. What do I like about this movie? Well, just like with the first one, you know, the atmosphere is great. The tension, you know. I liked that character Alina. She was pretty hot. Yeah. Things I didn't like. Well, just like the first movie, there's animal deaths. Yeah. And another thing I didn't like was the spiders. I am completely arachnophobic, but you know, I'll still watch things that have spiders in them, like Eight-Legged Freaks. I love that movie, or at least I used to. It's been a long time since I watched it. I don't know if I still like it or not. I'll probably watch it again someday. But anyway, yeah. I don't really know if I would want them to do a third collector movie. I kind of hope not. I just like to think that the movie, that it would just end that arc and locked up that son of a bitch, and I don't know, eventually figures out a way to kill them and goes on with his life. But who knows? Knowing that both collector movies are by the guys who did Saw, they'll probably make about 7 or 8 of them. I mean, like with Saw 7, that was that was called the final chapter, and now it's rumored they're going to make another Saw movie. But this isn't about Saws. But either way, I think it's a pretty good movie. And like I said, I really hope they don't do another one. But you never know. And this is kind of from someone who loves it when there comes a third movie after there's been 2 of them, because I just don't like it but this is one of those cases where I'd rather they just end it there. Same with House on Haunted Hill, with Return to House on Haunted Hill, the way it ended and all that. I hope they don't do another one. But yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about it. Let me know what you think of the movies, and yeah. This is Joker. Thank you for watching my review. Stay tuned for my next one. Bye.